everybody. And now I'd like to welcome in a special guest. He is the host of Ranting Rangers, the podcast. His name is Jacob Berkowitz. It's an excellent podcast. I listen to it all the time. Jacob, thank you for giving us a couple of minutes here. And thank you for talking with us.
Of course, Bob. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, are you as nervous as the rest of us are about tonight? Because this is a must-win tonight. This is really the first time the Rangers have faced some adversity. It's the first time that they're behind in a series. They really didn't look good the other night. What are you thinking going into tonight's game?
To be honest, they seem to always be better with adversity or coming from behind. And it's not just with this team. It's the Rangers teams in general, like my whole life. They always seem to be better as either the underdog or the team that has to come back. Because whenever they're the favorites or they have the lead, they seem to not know what to do with it. It's a bit weird, but not that nervous about tonight. I think they'll come out stronger. They have a coach now who will work with them in practice and strategize and understand this Florida team. You got to get the puck out very quickly against this aggressive team. I think they'll come back tonight stronger.
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to come back stronger, but that doesn't make me any less nervous because if they don't, and we know Florida is an excellent team. We know Florida is as good as the Rangers. A lot of people think they're better than the Rangers. And they made us, I mean, the Rangers went almost 16 minutes with one shot in that second period the other night. They scored one goal, but unfortunately, it was Lafreniere on his own net. But I mean, I'm nervous about tonight. Now, you had mentioned to me right before we went on when we were in break that Kaapo Kakko he might be a scratch tonight. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going off based off what the beat writers are posting, but it seems like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, he hasn't done anything.
The problem is he's not a finisher, and the other problem is when you see a player as a second overall pick, it's really hard to see them as anything but that. So if they are in a way contributing, if it's not to the tier of the second overall pick status, it's still going to be a net negative for a lot of people. But there are certain stuff he does bring, say, defensively. And that third line, while they haven't been finishing, I mean, anyone who goes up against them, good luck even attempting to get the puck. I mean, they're just, puck possession monsters.
Yeah, but should a number two pick, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but should a number two pick be a third line player? He should be a top six player, right?
Oh, sure. But it's just, the reality is that he's not going to be that, but it doesn't mean he still can't help contribute in a different way. But you're right. Unfortunately, it isn't that. He should be a top line forward. But, we play with the cards we're dealt.
Yeah, fair point. Now, the other night, the power play really did not look great. They were, I believe it was 0 for 2. I believe they went in the was it 0 for 2 or 0 for 3? I think it was 0 for 2. The penalty kill looked good. The special teams, the Rangers have always this season, everybody has said that their gripe with the Rangers has been 5-on-5. We're not as good 5-on-5 as we are at our special teams. Now, they have 4 shorthanded goals. They've given up 4 power play goals against. The special teams have been really special in the first 2 series. What do you see? What did you see from the power play and the penalty kill from the other night?
I mean, just from Florida's point of view, it's not like Carolina where they're just going to throw everything on net from the outside. Florida is going to be in your face. They're going to try to skate literally through you. And that's going to be a hell of a lot tougher. And that's going to be a real test for the penalty kill, which came up game 1, even though they lost. The power play has got to do better, especially because the reality is the Rangers aren't a top 5v5 team. Hedl coming back helps a lot, but the only way the Rangers win this series is if the power play does their job. It's especially for them because Florida 5v5 terrific. Rangers, they did, however, Rangers actually, not to mention, they did win the high danger chances versus the Panthers in game 1, even though they didn't have a lot of shots, which the Rangers have always been a quality, not quantity team. But yeah, the Rangers do need to finish more on the power play more than other teams just because they have to compensate for the lack of 5v5.
Now I'm in the camp of I like when, like, I'm always, if I'm at the game, I'm screaming, shoot the puck, shoot the puck. I think the Rangers have a lot of high skill players, good stick handlers, and Panarin and Zibanejad. They have Kreider, though, who sits in front of the net. He kind of gets down dirty in the trenches in there. Just throw the puck at the net. Only good things can happen when you throw the puck at the net. I feel like a lot of times Panarin gets a little fancy. Zibanejad will do a drop pass and nobody's there. He's coming in. I feel like they get too fancy. And the way it went last game, Florida likes to play close games. They're the kind of team that they're okay winning a 3-2 game or a 2-1 game. You have to just get as many chances as you could get, and that's how I am. Do you feel they should do that, or do you like how they get fancy sometimes?
I think honestly, I think it's a mix of both. I think they should take a page out of Carolina's handbook, though. I guess this is, a totally different conversation that could go on for an hour about why Carolina's system is flawed. But there is a page of their book they should probably take. If you've noticed, Bobrovsky was coughing up a solid amount of rebounds last game, given there weren't a lot of shots on him, but when there were some pretty juicy rebounds and no one was in front of the net. I think they should just start throwing pucks to the net and just crashing. I mean, they have the players to do it. They have Kreider. They have Lafreniere is very underrated regarding his physicality. Trocheck, Cooley. They have the guys to do it. And Laviolette has enforced in this team, even if you're known not to be the most physical player. Heck, Panarin has changed his game this year where he's willing to go to the front of the net. I think that should be their game plan. Once you get it in the zone, just throw it on that and crash it.
I mean, nobody's better than Kreider. He sits there. He practices deflections all day. He'll practice it and everything like that. That's kind of like a catcher trying to practice and catching foul tips. You just don't really do it that much. But I agree with you. Just throw it at the net. Only good things can happen. Bobrovsky is, he's a good goalie, and he's going to be tough to beat, so you want to get as many chances as possible. Trocheck has been phenomenal in this playoffs. He had that 6-game or 5-game goal scoring streak. He got the overtime winner. I didn't notice him too much the other night. What do you think they got to do to get that first line going with Kreider, Trocheck, and what is it, Cully on that line? Trocheck is on the second line. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Panarin, Trocheck, and
You're right. Trocheck's on the second line. I think the Rangers' second line is the most important line on the team with Zibanejad. I think Zibanejad's one of the right there with Panarin as far as being the best player. What do you got to do to get these two top lines going?
You got to break out. The whole thing's the breakout. They got it. The first period was horrendous with the breakout. I mean, my beer league team was better at the breakout in the first period. It was bad. It wasn't that like they were playing, versus one of the top teams, but it wasn't mistakes because the top team was doing something so well in the first. It was just these simple mistakes that you just can't be doing. They got better in the second and third, I felt like, in that regard, though. With Florida, they're so aggressive. If you notice, the Rangers were trying these like sort of Hail Marys where they're flipping the puck over into the neutral zone over whoever is like pinching in from Florida. And it's because Florida is so aggressive coming at you when you're trying to break it out, you're not going to have time. But if you somehow are able to flip it over them and get it past them, pass it quickly, you're going to be right behind them, which is why the Rangers had more breakaway chances in game one than they did in the whole playoff. Because versus Florida, you're going to have those chances if you get it out quick enough.
Well, I mean, the Rangers are faster. Like you said, they're faster. Dump and chase. Put it in the corner and go get it. Am I wrong?
I think it's like it depends probably on the situation, because I mean it's tough because since Florida plays such an aggressive forecheck, it's hard to get chances on transition on the rush. It's probably going to be even more of a dump and chase.
Oh, you still got to make that first. You still got to make the first pass out of the zone. That's all, because you got to get to the red line. Even if you're dumping Jason, you got to get to the red line. So you still got to make that first pass. You're right.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, that's the biggest thing for tonight's game is that first pass they got to do better at. That will probably be the determining factor of this game if they're able to do that much better. But listen, if they Braden Schneider had a breakaway. Like, if they do these type of things where they're able to quickly get it out of the zone, they are going to be able to have 2-on-1s. They are going to be able to have breakaways. And you're going to see a lot more breakaways in this series if they do that than you ever saw them in the playoffs or in the regular season combined. It's just because Florida plays that riskier but effective type of style.
Yeah, no, I mean, the break. Yeah, they had that breakaway. He's trying to hit the post on the breakaway, didn't he?
Yeah, it
hit the
outside. It was the outside of the post, but
yeah,
it was whatever it was. It was. It'd be nice once in a while if we heard the ping and it goes in, but you know.
Yeah, hey, listen, you know what? It might just be, listen, if you're going to win the Stanley Cup, you're going to have adversity, right? We all thought it was going to be easy because we were swept right through Washington. Then we're up 3-0 on Carolina, a team that was favored against us. And then we were like, oh, this is going to be easy. And then it got a little shaky with Carolina. And then now tonight, now we're really behind. Now we got ourselves a series. We've lost home ice. We got to get things back. Tonight's a must win. I thought the first goal. Now Shesterkin, I trust him. I trust him with my life. I'll tell you. But I think I thought the first goal the other night was a little shaky. I think he could have stopped it. I think he should have stopped it. I know he was screened a little bit, but that's a stop that he makes 9 out of 10 times.
I forgot to look at the highlight.
It was like a wrist shot.
I think it was being questioned if it nicked Fox's skate or something. But whatever it was, 99 of 100 times that's not going in. And then the other goal was a Lafreniere goal. So
yeah, I know.
2 goals, and the third one was an empty netter.
But to be fair, real quick, the reason the second goal was an empty netter was a Lafreniere goal is because he screwed up and Shesterkin's usually excellent puck handler. He screwed up when he went out to get it. He hit it right off the glass and he turned it over.
Yeah, no, that was not one of his best moments. It definitely was not only on Lafreniere on that play. I don't remember which defenseman was coming back, but he could have gotten that easily. Shesterkin did not have to come out.
He loves to come out, though. He loves it. He loves handling the puck, and it scares me.
And listen, I don't blame him. I mean, best puck handler goalie as a goalie in the league. Not close.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is Adam Fox hurt?
Yeah, my money. I bet all my money is. I think he got injured on that Nick Jensen play in game 1. Not game 1, in round 1.
Yeah.
With that knee-on-knee collision.
He also hurt the knee. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, that's what I was about to say. He injured his knee in November, and it was the same knee.
Yeah, so, those knee-on-knees will kill you too. Those things, trust me. I don't know how old you are, but your knees start going pretty quick. And especially if you hurt him when you're young, like he is.
Yeah, I watched the Nick Jensen highlight again yesterday. I'm like, I don't think that's how the knee's supposed to bend. That doesn't look great. It's also why I thought maybe they should bring in Zach Jones, because Zach Jones is another player that could get that first pass out, that could join on the transition, that's more offensive minded. They need to kind of compensate for Adam Fox's injury. And the only way to do that is by bring in players or have players play that offensive style role. And I thought Jones, who took a big step in the last 2 months of the season, I thought he should be number 1 to be the one to get put in. But it seems like they're going to go, with the same 6 defensemen. We just got to see if maybe it's just a structural change of just Laviolette showing the defense how exactly to get it past Florida.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree with you there. If I'm going down, whether Adam Fox says he's good to play, which he clearly has, he's out there. I don't take excuses. If you're out there, you do it. He's this generation's Brian Leach. If I'm going down, I'm going down with Adam Fox. I'm not going down with Jones or someone like that. That's just me, though.
Oh, I didn't mean, by the way, to scratch Adam Fox.
No, you mean to limit his ice time, though.
Honestly, I don't know, because if 5 days rest is not going to do anything, I don't think, game management like that is. I think you should probably put someone. It is tricky because I think you should have Fox focus more on purely the breakout passes and defensively, because he's not like, his whole thing is his smarts and his head fakes. It's not his fast skating, because he's not a fast skater. So now you bring in an injury, which even limits his skating even more. It's that's bad. That's bad. And the thing is that while playoff injuries are part of the playoffs, I get that. But this is coming from a position of weakness for the Rangers. It's not like, say, I don't want to jinx anything. I'm knocking on wood right now, but say Kreider is injured and he's having a little trouble, for one game. They have so many wingers they could compensate for it. Now, obviously, no one's going to be Kreider, but it's not going to be as big of a blow because they have guys to, rely on. But with Fox, how many players do we have that are proper puck-moving defensemen? We brought Gustafsson in, and while he had one hell of a first half of this regular season, he's been a little iffy the rest of the way. But that was kind of the reason why I would have Zach Jones. I would obviously not have Zach Jones on the first pair or even second pair. I'd probably have him on the third pair, but you still add another element where you're able to move the puck out more. But yeah, it's tricky. When your number one defenseman is injured and he's like a shell of himself, it's rough. It's really, really rough.
What are your thoughts? Now, there seems to be two camps as among Ranger fans. The camp that says, how the hell are they not dressing Rempe? What are they doing? And the camp that says he played 4 minutes in the double overtime game. He doesn't do anything. What camp do you fall into? I fall into the one where I don't really want to see him because I think he's young. I think he's inexperienced. He doesn't really know how to be an enforcer yet. I'm worried he would go out there and take a dumb penalty.
It's not just the dumb penalty. It's that the refs are watching him 24/7. It's more than anyone I have ever seen. And there have been penalties where he has been called, and I'm like, there is no way they're calling that at anyone if it's not, and some might not even be a penalty. It's a bit ridiculous. But again, this is the NHL. I get people who are saying like, look, the crowd and the team has a little extra,
Yeah, but if you can't get the building going for Eastern Conference Finals Game 2, come on. Do we need Rempe to get the building going? Come on.
Exactly.
Now, I don't have $1,200, so I'm not going tonight. But
right.
Well, you live in Manhattan, you said, right? So you probably got enough money, right? You going to the game tonight?
Well, I mean, I have to sell my car, but
well, you got that Manhattan apartment you were telling me about. It's probably the size of a refrigerator, right?
Yeah, no. I went to Game 2 versus Carolina, the double OT. So I went to the Trocheck
goal, right?
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to a game where that's going to be better than that in my lifetime. I mean, it's going to be hard to top that.
I was at Game 7 with Panarin.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I bought the ticket right as the game started outside. My buddy, I was like, I'm not going to go. It's too expensive. It was like $700. And my buddy, he's a degenerate gambler, and I guess he had a good day. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're going. He goes, I'm buying you the ticket. And I went in there and I sat and I watched that. And I'm like the biggest jinx ever. Anybody who knows me, I jinx everything. People are like, why are you going to the game? I posted about it the other night. People thought I was going to blow the 3-0 lead for them. But, either way, I saw Sean Avery, getting back to the Rempe thing, I saw Sean Avery on one of these social medias. And, listen, Sean Avery, we love him when he's on your team. You hate him when he's not on your team. But really, he's a clown. He was saying, Rempe, you got to have Rempe. He's going to be the difference. He's going to get a big goal in this series because he scored the goal. And I think he scored the first goal of the playoffs. And Sean Avery, I could do without Sean Avery, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Rempe's not really going to score any goals. I love that. I like Rempe. I do. And I'm fine with him being in the fourth line come next year. I think he could be an effective fourth liner, but he's just not. He's raw.
He's a rookie. He's a rookie.
Not a ready-made product yet.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Now, Kreider. Go ahead.
No, it's not just that he's a rookie. It's like Cooley's a rookie, right? But it's just the role Rempe plays. It's not going to be well. And the Rangers have shown they don't trust him in, prime time because he's on for 5 minutes. And that's if he's not ejected, or if that's if he's not a guaranteed one penalty against, which you really do not want to do against Florida. Yeah, the PK has been fantastic. You don't want to,
Yeah, don't play with fire. Don't play with fire.
Yeah, you don't play with the fire, though, just because you're doing well with it.
Exactly.
But I think he is going to be in tonight. That would be my guess. But the thing is, like, you're basically then playing with 11 forwards. I wonder. I guess Kakko would be coming out. Man, I think people forget how bad defensively, or the different dynamic of this team defensively when Kakko was out for a month. He's not a finisher, and it's frustrating to see of his lack of production. I don't blame anyone on that. He's a second overall pick. You want more.
Yeah, he's a bust. He's a bust. He's a bust. As far as I'm concerned, he's a bust.
But then again, he does bring an element that really, really helps. I mean, he was part of the third line that practically played keep away with every single team they played against. Now, obviously, they have to change that out because they have to start producing. But defensively, Kakko does something. I remember I was speaking to someone, and it had to do with like Kakko with risky turnovers, or to create turnovers to get out of the defensive zone, which apparently Kakko was very, very good at. It was kind of like, quote unquote, ice tilt. He's very good at. But the thing is, I get, like, hell, put him on the fourth line. But I get, people are frustrated that, he's not who he thought he was going to be. But it doesn't mean he can't bring anything. Like, he could still bring something. Rempe, man, again, like you said, if you can't get pumped up in the Eastern Conference Finals and you need Rempe to come in, you got bigger problems.
Yeah, listen, I like Rempe as much as anybody, but I like Rempe on a Tuesday night in February against the Flyers. Not in the Eastern Conference Finals game 2 when we're down a game and we have to win, because he has no skill. Let's be real. He's not an NHL player if he wasn't, a goon-sized guy. So, but, listen, Peter Laviolette's smarter than both me and you. And it's amazing that the Rangers are even here, to be honest with you, because they were that close away from missing on Lafreniere too. Because they gave him this 1-year deal, and this was it. It was, put up or shut up. And he did develop very nicely this year. He turned into a nice player. But if you miss on 2 top 5 picks in a matter of 2-3 years, you set your franchise back a couple of years.
Yeah, I'm not blaming fully the Rangers for this, because it is still on the players. But the Rangers have not been. They have gotten better this year. They've gotten much better, but they were not good at developing players. You can't have a player like, say, Lafreniere, and every little mistake he does, bench him. Because the only way to grow as a player is by trial and error. If you're not going to allow the error, then they're not going to have the trial, right? They're not going to learn and grow and understand what to do. And I remember when Gallant was here, everyone's like, why isn't he deking? I'm like, because he knows the second that he messes up one time, he's going to be benched. Why would any player in his position do that? Now, granted, his skating was horrific, and he had to work on that, which he did over the summer. But he was not in a position to succeed. He had, and you look at like Lucas Raymond and other players, they were either a second or first line, number 1 power play time. And hell, if Lafreniere had number 1 power play time this year, he's probably in the 70-point area. And I do think he could become a point per game player. But again, Kaapo was a different story. It really seems now, he is not the player we're going to think he's going to be. At best, he's a third line.
But that's okay. That's okay. Don't keep trying to make him the player he's not. Just like with Kaapo Kakko, like you said, put him on the fourth line. If he's a fourth line player, it is what it is. Put him on the fourth line then. Don't keep trying to push him up to the second and third line.
Right. No, well, yeah, I guess with Kaapo, the thing is, like, right now, you do have to shake it up. I understand, because you need to start finishing for that third line. But that doesn't mean, just because a player isn't living up to the draft pedigree does not mean they still can't contribute in a certain way. It's frustrating. I get it. I don't blame anyone. I'm frustrated. But that doesn't mean then you flip the table over and say, well, screw this, I'm not playing anyway. You still play with the cards you're handed, and you deal with it.
Yeah.
You manage to win one way or another.
And listen, they're a President's Trophy winner. They have now lost 3 out of 4 games. They haven't all year really had a bad 5-game streak. I expect them to come out and do very well tonight. I expect them to win tonight. I think Florida's playing with house money. They might get a little loose tonight. Tell us now before I let you go here. Tell everybody here where they can find you. Tell us a little bit about your podcast. Get a shameless plug in.
Oh, sure. Thank you. So I'm the host of the Ranting Rangers podcast. We're available on really any podcast platform. We generally release episodes every Monday morning, but due to the playoffs, we're kind of all over the place. I believe the next one's like coming out after Game 3. We normally announce when the next following episode is during the podcast. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a good show, guys. If you're a Rangers fan, give it a shot. I'm telling you, it's a good show. If you're an Islanders fan, screw you. It doesn't matter anyway. And so his name is Jacob Berkowitz. The podcast is called Ranting Rangers Podcast. Jacob, I appreciate you giving us a couple minutes tonight. Let's go Rangers. Let's get this one tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me on. Let's go Rangers.
Absolutely. How about that? Jacob Berkowitz is his name. Thank you very much for coming on, giving us a couple minutes. And listen, I agree with a lot of what he says. I think the Rangers, they come out well tonight. I think they play well tonight. It's a must win. We can't screw this up tonight. If they lose tonight, they're in big, big trouble. They've now lost 3 out of 4 games. They haven't really had many bad 5-game stretches over this season. So I expect them to fully come out. They know what they have to do tonight. They know the pressure's on. They know you can't fall behind 0-2 heading to Florida. And it's the kind of series where, listen, the Rangers are going to have 7 home games, right? Because let's face it, though, a lot of fans down there in South Florida. I lived down there for a little while, and there are a ton of New Yorkers, and we know that they find their way into the building in South Florida, whether it's the Mets and the Marlins, or the Yankees and the Rays, or the Rangers and the Panthers, or the Lightning even. So New Yorkers are going to get in there. The Rangers are going to have fans everywhere. You got to get tonight, though. We will be with you again after the game tonight. It's going to be live. It might be an audio only. Keep up on our socials. We'll have it out for you. We'll let you know what it's going to be. We want to thank Jacob Berkowitz again. The name of the podcast is the Ranting Rangers Podcast. Check it out. It's an excellent show. You're going to like it if you're a Rangers fan. And that's it. Here we go, folks. Game 2 tonight, 8 o'clock, ESPN. Enjoy it. Don't be too nervous. I think they're going to do all right tonight. We get right back in the series. It's okay to face some adversity to win a Stanley Cup, because you're not going to get to the Stanley Cup without facing adversity. So that does it for me. Remember, visit our website, lockedupsports.net, lockedupsports.net. This has been Rangers pregame show, the Locked Up Sports style. Again, thank you to Jacob Berkowitz. I'm Bob Walters. See ya.